been totally dominating the markets and kind of how bullish the general sentiment is right now, it is easy to understand why everyone is so gosh darn optimistic. Now, before we break all of that down, a massive thank you to today's sponsor, Liquid.com. They are one of the most secure and regulated cryptocurrency exchanges in Japan. Liquid will be hosting the highly anticipated Gram token sale. Gram is the cryptocurrency being launched for Telegram, which is the global messaging giant with 200 million users. For holders of the Cash token, which is Liquid.com's native token, there will be exclusive rebates during the sale, which kicks off on July 10th. There is a link in the description of this video, which you can click on to learn more about the sale. So, Bitcoin. It's doing things again, guys. The price is going up. Sometimes it's going down just a little bit. Sometimes it's going sideways. Where will the price of Bitcoin be tomorrow? No one knows. It's crazy, man. Okay, but seriously, guys, seriously now. Currently, Bitcoin is over $11,000. Now, of course, we are watching for it to hit and cross that $12,000 mark. And after $12,000, to be honest, there are no real major levels of historical resistance past $12,000. I mean, maybe we're going to play around in the $13,000 to $15,000 zone for a while. There was some significant turbulence there in early 2018, but this is not 2017. This is not 2018. The market could play out very differently this time around. The way Bitcoin has been behaving, we could see it just blast straight past the $20,000 mark without even stopping to get gas, guys. At this moment, Bitcoin dominance is nearing 60%, which means that 60% of the total market cap of all crypto is just Bitcoin, which underlines just how much Bitcoin has been leading this market rally. Just before the last parabolic crazy land bull run happened, Bitcoin dominance peaked at nearly 65%. And just after it hit 65%, it dropped big time, 30% in just a few weeks. At the same time, altcoins exploded. Bitcoin dominance took until mid-September of 2018 to cross over the 57% mark, making a 20% dominance gain over that time frame, by which time most altcoins had basically been unceremoniously slaughtered on the altar of pain and suffering. While we have seen historical levels of Bitcoin dominance much higher than 65% and even much higher than now, I think that we could be seeing a situation where we are reaching the upper reaches of Bitcoin's market dominance on this run, because the markets are very different right now than they were 5 years ago. And that Bitcoin may be the tide that lifts all boats once it reaches its high tide mark. But you have to remember that even a 5% increase in Bitcoin dominance at this stage would likely be very painful for altcoins. Currently, the market cap of Bitcoin is over $200 billion, which is the first time in a very long time, to be honest. In fact, it hasn't been that high in 18 months, which is super amazing and also really speaks to the overall strength of the crypto markets right now. Volume has been massive, with Bitcoin doing around $20 billion in volume a day, which is freaking insane when you think about it, guys. At the height of the last bull run, Bitcoin is doing around $4 billion a day. We have 5x the volume and half the price. It's nuts. Just let that sink in for a second, guys. And interestingly, altcoins are doing around $45 billion a day in volume. So even though Bitcoin is dominating in price, and yes, by itself it has the largest volume and the largest market cap, we cannot easily ignore how massive the altcoin markets actually are. And yes, guys, there is a lot of fake volume flowing around on many exchanges, wash trading and the tether drama and all this kind of stuff. It's kind of become worse over the last year, but we do have the major websites like CoinGecko and CoinMarketCap fighting back against this BS, trying to make more accurate reporting for volume in the markets. But it does show that the alt markets are huge and are far from disappearing. And yes, the Bitcoin markets are huge and far from disappearing. And that all of this is happening without retail hysteria. The real drivers of the current rally have been the institutions, the hedge funds, Wall Street, high net worth individuals, family offices, major trading desks. And you, Yes, you. I'm talking to you. I know what you've been doing. You've been stacking sats and chilling, haven't you? Okay, but really, honestly, guys, how insanely cool is it to be here now? Before the herd arrives, and they will, make no mistake about it. And especially when you have all these major Bitcoin bull analysts taking every chance possible to get on TV and basically yell, Bitcoin to the moon! Apparently, if you wear a suit and you go and say Bitcoin to the moon on TV, well, then people will believe you. Most analyst predictions are, of course, following the logarithmic chart and thus are calling to see the next market high for Bitcoin, $60,000 to $100,000. And they're saying $100,000 is a hell of a lot more provocative than $60,000. Tom Lee from Fundstrat is calling for a 4x in the price of Bitcoin within the next few months. I personally see these kinds of price valuations as absolutely inevitable based on the 100 different factors that I talk about all of the time on this channel. The only question really becomes, when is it going to happen? My guess, 2021, maybe 2022, but likely late 2021, the end of the year, after the real effects of the Bitcoin halving start to grind into effect. That, of course, being that the daily amount of Bitcoin generated by miners drops from 1,800 to 900. This will reduce the supply of Bitcoin at the exact time that we have more and more buyers flooding in, creating more demand for a scarcer asset. You have to remember that many miners make regular OTC sales to fund their operations. Those sales will be cut in half. Now, it probably won't have an overnight effect. It could take 6 months or even a bit longer into 2022 for that to really play out and really to hit home on the markets. But I'm fairly certain that it's going to have a big effect. Although I do worry a bit that currently the market is moving perhaps a bit too fast and there's almost too much optimism out there right now. And that, to be honest, we could be in for a fairly large correction on the road to 100,000. And it might catch a lot of people by surprise when it happens because we are so optimistic right now. And look, I am not in the contrarian camp by any means, particularly not those Elliott Waves theory dudes, but they're still saying Bitcoin's going back to $2,000, guys. I wish it were true. I would love to buy some $2,000 Bitcoin. But I don't think we're going to get Bitcoin that cheap ever again. But we could see a 20 or a 30% drop down to, $8,000 or $9,000. Sure, that wouldn't surprise me at all, guys. Or will we make it up to $15,000 before we have a big strong retracement back down to $10,000 or $11,000? Could be the case. Long term, none of this stuff bothers me. Hold on to your butts, guys, because the Bitcoin honey badger is on a moon mission and no one's going to stop it. And some interesting stats that I have been seeing also make me incredibly optimistic about the next big run. And it's that while we do see major Western countries continuing to be an absolute key in terms of markets, the USA and Japan and Canada and Australia, New Zealand, the UK, all these places, France, those markets alone can take us to the moon. But increasingly, we see the Bitcoin virus spreading. Countries like South Africa, Ghana, Nigeria, they are seeing new spikes in the search trends of Bitcoin and how to buy Bitcoin. We are seeing record volume in countries like Colombia and Venezuela. And price premiums are being paid for Bitcoin in various countries around the world like Hong Kong and Iran due to political tensions in those cases. But Bitcoin is catching on everywhere. Increasingly, the world is waking up to the reality of how freaking awesome crypto is. And they're taking the plunge, guys. They are buying Bitcoin. And this has come together to fuel Bitcoin's 165% gain so far this year, which is Bitcoin's best second quarter performance on record and the highest quarterly percentage gain since the end of 2017. A friendly reminder, too, that 1 million Satoshis is only $110 today. It was only $90 a few weeks ago. And that now 1 Satoshi is worth more than 5 different national currencies' single units. And the total value of Bitcoin now exceeds the Russian ruble, making Bitcoin the 8th biggest currency in the world. And of course, Bitcoin is the most undervalued currency in the world currently. And actually, speaking of Russia, it now seems that Russia may decide in the end to allow crypto trading in the country after all. If you remember, we discussed that a draft bill circulating in Russia proposed banning Russians from trading cryptocurrencies within the country. It appears that regulators are doing a U-turn on this. So Russians, it seems, will be allowed to trade and to own cryptocurrencies, although home mining may still be outlawed under the new law, as well as officially being prohibited from using crypto as a form of money inside the Russian Federation, so that's probably off the table as well. But they can buy, they can hold it, and they can trade it, which is awesome. Obviously, until the final bill is signed into law, we can only speculate, but let us hope that cooler heads prevail and that Russian regulators don't screw regular Russian people out of easily accessing crypto. And the final story for you today, and this one comes out of Japan. The country's most popular messaging app, Line, is in the process of getting a license to launch their own cryptocurrency exchange. The service will allow Line Messenger users to seamlessly buy Bitcoin, as well as Line's own cryptocurrency, which is called Link, among many other cryptos. Japan has been one of crypto's most important markets. To see such a major tech company like this rolling out a cryptocurrency exchange, I think is very exciting. Certainly something that I welcome a heck of a lot more than any of the Facebook coin BS that we're seeing right now. And the carry-on effects of 80 million people in Japan getting easy access to crypto via the Line app and their new exchange is very exciting for the long-term health of the crypto markets. So guys, what are your thoughts on the state of the markets? Will Bitcoin market domination continue, or will we actually see altcoins come back with a vengeance? Let me know about it down below in the comments section. As always, you guys are totally freaking awesome, so thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to come over here and check out this video. And of course, if you are new around here, make sure to check out my free course. It's called Cryptocurrency Explained. You can find it at thecryptolark.org. It covers everything from how to buy crypto, how to safely store it, top investing tips, and all that fun kind of stuff. And if you are new to the channel,